Long-term care insurance is for nursing home, for assisted living facilities, and if you get a good policy, it's for in-home care. Now, how many of you in here are over 60 years old? Raise your hand. Good, just a few of you. Okay, how many of you have parents that are living that are over 65 years old? Raise your hand. See, the number one problem facing this next generation, statistically, is not how to pay for their kids' college. It's how to take care of their parents. That's what's coming. Financially, this is a huge, huge deal. I do not recommend long-term care insurance until you're 60. I do not recommend long-term care insurance until you're 60. The probability of a nursing home stay prior to 60 is almost zero. It's a rip. Don't buy it. At 60, on your 60th birthday, buy long-term care insurance immediately, because it changes right there. The stats start shifting right there. I've studied this stuff for years. I am a huge proponent of this insurance because it's so expensive. See, here's what happens. Typically, 75% of you ladies will outlive your husbands. And so what happens is you work and you build up a nest egg of $300,000. And then Pop goes in the nursing home, because most of you ladies outlive your husbands. And he stays there $30,000 to $50,000 to $70,000 a year, and he stays there 4 or 5 years. And he pretty much eats up the nest egg, passes away. Grandma's there, she's in great shape, but she got no food money. We left her broke because the nest egg killed the goose that lays the golden eggs, cracked and scrambled the nest egg. And the nursing home knocked that out. And I'm not against nursing homes. I think nursing homes are just like anybody else. They ought to be paid if they provide a service. And if you're buying a nursing home service, I don't know why you think you shouldn't have to pay them. You ought to have to pay them. If the ambulance comes and picks you up, you ought to have to pay for the ambulance. If you buy a car, you ought to have to pay for a car. Why is this hard? You know, so I'm not mad at the nursing home people. Some of them do a better job than others, just like any other industry. But the nursing home will crack and scramble your nest egg. And so have long-term care insurance in place to take care of that. It's not that expensive. The problem is that you have to have this, well, with your parents, you have to sit down and talk to them about it. Now that you've seen this lesson, you have to have the talk. And your parents probably aren't going to want to listen to you about money. Because when you're discussing money stuff with your parents, you face the powdered butt syndrome. The powdered butt syndrome is once someone has powdered your butt, they really don't want your opinion on money or sex. And so when you go to sit down and say, Mom and Dad, we're going to talk, they say, right, you got something to tell me. But you know, the problem is if they don't get this long-term care insurance, or they don't allow you to get it for them if you're financially able, then we could be talking about a $300,000 or $400,000 mistake. I had a friend of mine not long ago, 62 years old, call me up. I had a long conversation with him when he was 62. His wife was 65 at the time. And he said, Dave, these guys trying to sell me this long-term care. What do you think about this long-term care? I don't think it's an insurance ripoff. And I said, it's not an insurance ripoff. You need to buy it. You need to buy it right now. And this guy has, I don't know, he's probably got $700,000, $800,000 cash. And he's got some real estate, an old family farm. It's probably worth another $500,000 or so, right? So they've got some assets, but they're not just filthy rich, right? They're doing pretty good, though. He's a millionaire in terms of net worth. And literally, he didn't buy it because it was an insurance ripoff. And he didn't go buy it like I told him to. I don't know why he asked my opinion if he wasn't going to take it. I mean, it wasn't a radio call. I spent 20 minutes talking to him, trying to get him to do it. He still didn't do it. Sad thing was, about a year after I had that discussion with him, his 65-year-old wife, in perfect physical condition, begins the first stages of Alzheimer's. An Alzheimer's patient at that age, in that kind of physical condition, it's not unusual at all for her to live 15 years. And a lot of that, she'll need care. And so he made probably a $300,000 or $400,000, maybe a $500,000 mistake by not listening to me. I really wish I'd talked him into it, but now I'm just having to watch this unfold. 69% of you out there will spend some time in need of long-term care after age 65. Let me have 10 people stand up right here, beginning with you, ma'am. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 people sitting there. Would you three sit down, please? Yes, sir, that would be you too. Thank you. Okay. That's 7 out of 10 of you will need long-term care. Now, I'm not saying this anytime soon, y'all. You're all looking pretty good, okay? So have a seat. Give them a hand, all right? The last 6 months of your life could be more expensive than any decade of your life. You have to be ready with health insurance and long-term care insurance. It is the most expensive time of your life, is the last 6 months of your life. And you can't hide assets. I'm just going to move all the stuff out of Daddy's name so that we can get the government to pay for it. That is called a federal crime. Okay? Because when the government pays for nursing home, that's under the Medicaid plan, that's welfare, which is designed for people who don't have any money. When you transfer assets out of your name to act like you don't have any money to get the government to pay for your stuff, that's fraud. It's criminal fraud, and they will prosecute you on this issue. They are big-time tough, and they can look back 36 months on some types of assets and as far as back 60 months, 5 years on you moving stuff around to hide it so you can get mom and dad on the welfare plan instead of mom and dad on the long-term care insurance plan. And so, by the way, if you're in that situation and you can't get long-term care, you've waited too late, and Medicaid is what you're facing. Right now, the spouse is allowed to keep $79,000, allowed to keep a house, and allowed to keep a car. Everything else has to have gone to pay for nursing home before you qualify for Medicaid. So don't even look at, I don't want to retire on Social Security, and I don't want Medicaid taking care of me if I need care in a nursing home. Buy the right kind of financial planning tools like long-term care insurance. This is absolutely vital. Identity theft protection. We told you in Credit Sharks in Suits that now 15 million people this year have had their identity stolen. It's the fastest growing white-collar crime in North America today. And when you have your identity stolen, you will spend an average of 600 hours trying to get that mess cleaned up. You don't owe any money, and I told you in that lesson how not to pay any money and how to fight it through. But you're going to spend an average of 600 hours cleaning up your mess. So I recommend this type of protection, identity theft protection. Don't buy ID theft protection that only provides credit report monitoring. Crud, you can do that on your own. You're allowed to pull your own credit bureau once a year free anyway. So you don't need to have somebody else pay somebody else for that opportunity. Don't do that stuff. And a lot of that stuff's coming in your credit card statements. A lot of the credit bureau companies are offering it now, that kind of thing. I do recommend you buy it, and I own identity theft protection on me. That includes restoration services that assign a counselor to go clean up the mess. See, the problem is not that you're going to owe money. The problem is you've got a new hobby. You're going to have to deal with the fraud victim division with a bunch of credit card companies, and you're going to have to go through all this mess to clean up stuff that you don't owe through no fault of your own. And so I like the idea of having someone take my case, go do this for me. They go fight with the bank. They go fight with the credit card company and clean up the mess for me. That's the way you want to do identity theft protection.
52,188,123 instances of identity theft and counting. This is a frightening statistic. Victims of identity theft spend an average of 600 hours recovering from this crime. It's devastating financially and emotionally. Identity theft can happen anywhere: the phone, internet, mall, doctor's office, even your home mailbox. So it's more important than ever to protect your personal information. Never carry your Social Security card with you. It belongs in a safe place at home. Never throw out documents with your personal information, including your address. Use a paper shredder, and never give your Social Security number until you're officially offered a job. That's simple. Be especially careful on the internet for scams like phishing, and that's phishing with a PH. This is where you get an email from a supposedly legitimate company asking you to verify your credit card or personal information. This happened to a friend of my daughter's not long ago at college. The local bank had of course, their logo and stuff, right? Everybody recognized the logo. So all the students there at the college ended up getting an email from what looked like that local bank, where a lot of them had an account. And it said, "There's a problem with your account." Hundreds and hundreds of students got the same email the same day, the same night. Click to this link so that we can verify who you are, and we will be able to straighten up the problem with your account. So the students clicked the link. It went to a website that appeared to be the bank. It had their logos and everything on it. And it said, enter your account information. The students entered their account information. And of course, it was a con. It was a scam. And the scam artist used the account information to clean out the students' accounts. My daughter said the next morning that there were students lined around the block trying to get into the bank to get their account closed because they've been cleaned out. So common phishing bait includes someone asking you to verify your account. Dear valued customer, if you don't respond within 48 hours, your account will be closed. Click the link below to gain access to your account. And then they lead you through this process of stealing your information. Legitimate companies, internet or otherwise, will not ask you for your account information or your password unless you call them first. Hint, they already have your account information. They are the bank. If you do get an email that's questionable, make a call to the company to verify the email. Anytime you enter a debit card number or personal information on a website that you initiate a transaction with, make sure the HTTP in the address bar changes to HTTPS and that the little padlock appears on your browser. If you're surfing in an internet cafe, you're fair game, so don't log onto your bank account or make purchases while you're there. And those phone calls you get asking you to verify your debit card number because you want a prize, come on guys, get real. Listen, if something looks too good to be true, it probably is.